power doesn't always come from force. It doesn't always come from violence or domination or control in the way most people imagine. Sometimes the most powerful systems are built quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. And by the time people realize what has been created, it's already too late to escape it. John D. Rockefeller understood this better than almost anyone in history. He didn't just build a company. He didn't just accumulate wealth. He built something far more powerful, a system. And that system didn't just shape his time. It reshaped the future. There was a moment in history when the world was changing faster than ever before. The Industrial Revolution was accelerating, cities were expanding, and a new kind of power was emerging: energy. Oil became the lifeblood of modern civilization. It fueled machines, industries, transportation, and eventually entire nations. And while most people saw oil as an opportunity to make money, Rockefeller saw something else entirely. He saw control. While others rushed into the oil business trying to profit from the boom, Rockefeller approached it differently. He wasn't interested in quick wins. He wasn't interested in competing on the surface. He was thinking deeper, long-term, strategically. He understood something that most people never fully grasp. Real power doesn't come from participating in a system. It comes from controlling the system itself. He began by building Standard Oil, but this wasn't just another company. It was the foundation of something much larger. Rockefeller didn't want to be one of many players in the market. He wanted to eliminate the idea of competition altogether. And he did it in a way that didn't always look aggressive, at least not at first. Instead of openly destroying his competitors, he absorbed them. He bought them out, partnered with them, or simply made it impossible for them to survive. He negotiated secret deals with railroads, securing lower transportation costs that no one else could match. He lowered prices strategically, sometimes even operating at a loss, just to push competitors out of the market. And once they were gone, he raised control again. Over time, what looked like a competitive industry began to transform into something entirely different. A system where one entity quietly controlled nearly everything: production, refining, distribution, pricing. Rockefeller didn't just participate in these processes. He dominated every layer of them. And that was the turning point, because once you control every layer of a system, you don't just influence outcomes, you define them. By the time people began to understand what Standard Oil had become, it was already too powerful. It controlled around 90% of the oil industry in the United States. 90%. Think about that. One man, one organization, controlling almost the entire lifeblood of modern industry. But here's where the story becomes even more important, because Rockefeller didn't stop there. Most people think his influence ended with oil, that once Standard Oil was broken up, his power faded. But that's not what happened. In many ways, that was just the beginning of something much deeper. Rockefeller understood that controlling a resource is powerful, but controlling systems that shape society is far more lasting. And so he began to move his influence into other areas. Areas that didn't look like power on the surface, but defined how entire generations would think and behave. Education was one of them. Through foundations and funding, Rockefeller helped shape the modern education system in ways that most people never question. Schools began to standardize. Curriculums became more uniform. The focus shifted toward creating workers who could fit into an industrial system rather than independent thinkers who would question it. This wasn't necessarily presented as control. It was presented as progress, as organization, as efficiency. And that's how the most powerful systems always operate. They don't appear as control. They appear as improvement. He also influenced medicine, supporting certain models of healthcare, research, and pharmaceutical development while others quietly disappeared. Over time, this shaped what society considers real medicine and what it dismisses. Again, not through force, but through influence. And then there was finance. The financial structures that support modern economies didn't emerge randomly. They were shaped by powerful individuals and institutions who understood how to build systems that sustain themselves. Systems that people depend on without ever fully understanding how they work. And that's the key to Rockefeller's legacy. He didn't just build something powerful. He built something that people would depend on. Because dependency is the ultimate form of control. When people depend on a system for energy, education, healthcare, money, they don't question it. They adapt to it. They live inside it. And over time, that system becomes invisible. Not because it's hidden, but because it feels normal. And that is exactly what makes it so effective. The world you live in today is built on layers of systems like these. Systems that were designed, structured, and refined over time. Systems that shape what you learn, how you work, what you believe is possible, and even how you define success. And most people move through these systems without ever seeing them clearly. They believe they are making independent choices. They believe they are navigating freely. But in reality, the structure around them is guiding those choices in ways that are subtle, consistent, and powerful. This is why Rockefeller's story is not just about wealth. It's not just about oil. It's about understanding how power evolves. Power is not just about control over resources. It is about control over systems. And once a system is in place, it no longer needs constant force to maintain itself. It runs, it sustains, it grows, it shapes behavior automatically. That is the highest level of power. And perhaps the most unsettling part of all of this is how invisible it becomes. Because the most powerful systems are not the ones people fight against. They are the ones people don't even realize they're inside. So the question is not whether Rockefeller was powerful. The question is, how much of his system still shapes your world today? Because once a system becomes part of everyday life, escaping it is no longer just difficult. It becomes almost impossible. And that is the true meaning of power.
If you see what most people ignore, subscribe to Hidden Empire. Because the stories that shape the world are never the ones told in